What a game. I love kickers. Those guys are I'm glad we got the one that we have, and the snapper and the holder and all of that. I think that last drive was a testament to the way that we prepare every Tuesday, much like I told you guys last year after the Oklahoma game. We do a 2-minute scenario where the one offense goes against the 2 defense, and they need a field goal to win. So these guys have a ton of reps at that scenario, and was really proud of the way that they executed. You guys are all going to ask me tons of questions about the defense, and rightfully so. But at the end of the day, we've got to do a better job playing complementary football on the offensive side, in my opinion. If we're going to go for it on 4th and short, which we should, from the plus 40, because if you happen to miss a punt and it goes in the end zone, you're netting 20 yards. We've got to do a better job executing. Then we turn the ball over twice in the red zone, in their red zone, with an enormously short field. And so I was really, really disappointed in that. But to win a football game when you're playing with such youth and inexperience on defense, and basically, if you count the 2 4th downs, lose the turnover battle 4-0. Proud of the resiliency, proud of the fight. When they scored that 2-point conversion, everybody on offense, all the players, they were like, hey, this is just like Tuesday practice, let's go. And, we've got a ton of work to do, obviously, but we'll figure that out. We're happy that we found a way to win. I know there's other teams in the country, even teams in the top 25, top 10 that didn't, and that's a whole lot worse feeling than the feeling that we have now. And we're going to celebrate the win, and obviously come ready to improve the things that we are deficient at right now, and enhance the things that we do well, and make sure that we're doing more and more of them. Questions?
Tom, you're right about the defense, but offensively, y'all did more than enough to win the game tonight. But just
we turned the ball over 4 times, so I don't know that that's doing our part.
I understand. Are y'all going to be able to do anything special this season if you can't figure out how to generate more of a pass rush, how to fix the tackling, and just try to, as best you can, to patch it up on defense?
No. Next question.
What can be fixed?
Well, everything. Next question.
Tom, had Mason Ramirez been practicing with the defense, or
if what?
Had Mason Ramirez been practicing with the defense, or did you guys have to throw him out there at the end?
I can't remember when we moved him. It might have been. It hasn't been more than 2 weeks. It might have been early this week or last week, but he had practiced. I don't. He was in the meetings and got some reps in practice, but not a whole lot.
And your initial thoughts on Vaughns and Overshone, and just kind of how they played today?
I don't know. I know Byron had a bunch of tackles. I did see him, struggle to get lined up at times, which we've got to correct. And I know DeMarvion can run and hit. We've got to see. I don't know assignment-wise and technique-wise. It's way too early, but I did feel both of them on the field.
Coach, you guys jumped up to a 14-0 lead. Seemed like it was rolling down here for you to start with. Did you think that affected the team maybe a little bit in their psyche? Think it was going to be too easy early on?
No, not this crew. I mean, these guys know who we are. They're not oblivious to our deficiencies. So no, there was no sense of letting off the gas by any stretch.
Yeah, Tom, could you update us on Brandon Jones? Also, After the OU game, you talked about tackling and missing in space. Did you see anything remotely looking like improvement tonight?
I did actually. Yeah, I saw Brandon make some plays in the open field. Because there's not a guy that's ever played defense that has made 100% of his tackles. It doesn't happen. It's got to be proper technique, and if the guy makes you miss, he makes you miss. But at least you've held him off long enough for the cavalry to arrive, and we've got to make sure that our guys are fresh and healthy enough to be running to the football. So the issues are not. I mean, these are guys that didn't get a whole lot of reps early in the season, and so as much as we emphasized it this week in practice, it's something that's not a 2-day fix, and we're in pads on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and so we're going to keep after it. But I think for the most part, I think in the backfield, we had I don't know how many TFLs we had, but it felt like certainly more than last week, and quite a few, and out in space, it's difficult, and we'll continue to get better, but we also need 10 other hats running to the ball, and we're getting to that point. And Brandon, yeah, stinger deal. We've had more of those this year. I don't know why we do, as much trap and neck work as anybody in the country. I think it's. I don't know. I'll reserve judgment because I'm not quite sure why. But he's being evaluated for a stinger, but it was not. Usually a stinger is like one or two plays, and you jog back in, and his wasn't going away, so they wanted to take him in for further evaluation.
Coach, with being his senior year, how frustrated has Colin been that he hasn't been on the field, for the three games, however long it was? How big was he tonight? And also, just if you would touch on Sam, just coming up huge again in another big moment for you guys.
Yeah, I think Colin certainly was frustrated. I don't think he is now. He wanted to be out there the last few weeks or the weeks that he missed and wasn't. Thankfully, we won those games. He'd be the first to tell you he looked a bit rusty last week. But I thought he played great tonight, and was excited to see him that involved. I know Sam appreciates when he's at his best. And then, I thought Sam was seeing the field really well. I thought, on third down, I lost track of how many scrambles he picked up for first down gains on third down. But, when you have, the wide receiver core that we jog out for most of the time, in Devin Duvernay, Colin Johnson, and Brennan Eagles, you got to figure out, how you're going to cover those guys. And when you do, I thought Sam did a great job of the third and, what was it, 3rd and 13, in that last drive, deliver the ball on time to Colin. I mean, it was very, very well-timed and well-run route, well-timed by Sam. And just thought he saw the field great and kind of realized that they were doing everything in their power to cover our guys. And after taking a couple sacks, kind of realized, okay, hey, I'm not going to hold on to this ball that long and make it difficult on my O-line. If they want to go cover everybody, I'm going to take off and go get the first down, and thought he did a great job adjusting.
Tom, your defense is obviously beat up, and now Brandon's, banged up too. Is there any good news coming in terms of guys getting healthy, maybe with Caden Stearns or Jalen Green? And their offense had a new coordinator with 2 weeks to prepare. How How difficult was that, and how well did their quarterback play?
I hope there's good news. I don't know for sure. I'll know a lot more tomorrow when both those guys and Jalen and Caden run around. We were the TCU game was kind of best case scenario, so we'll see where they're at on Sunday, and then it's when you're literally seeing plays that you had never seen in practice before, especially with an inexperienced group. It's not like our defensive coaches were kind of throwing up their hands. I mean, we were making adjustments. We were trying everything we could to kind of make them understand the schemes that they were seeing. And at times we did a good job. At times we didn't. I thought their quarterback did a magnificent job. Certainly in the read game, with his feet, to have whatever he had, 65 yards rushing, a long of 36 on just 9 carries, and 27 of 47, with 4 touchdowns. I mean, I thought he played great, we knew Coach Miles is a heck of a coach. You don't win a national championship by accident, and we have a ton of respect for their defensive staff too, and they blitzed us. I mean, they came into the game. I think it was like 9% on first and second down, and it was much more than that in this game. So it was a continual adjustment process for both sides of the ball, and to answer your question, I thought their quarterback played great, and it was difficult to see different schemes than you'd seen your entire week of practice.
Coach, just 2 questions. Just talk about the difficulty of trying to defend Puka Williams and what he was able to do. And then the second one is, at the end of the day, even though Kansas is a 2-win team, do you just pretty much say a win's a win and you just move on to the next opponent?
What's that? Yes. I mean, the answer is that what we do? Yeah. I mean, you again, Sundays after a close win versus Sundays after a loss versus Sundays after a blowout win, they are not any different in terms of the way that we approach the way that we coach, which is we've got to identify the areas that we're deficient in, and we've got to continue to do our very best to improve them as a coaching staff. And we've got to make sure, the first is we got to make sure the best 11 are on the field, certainly, that give us the best chance. And then we've got to continue to train those guys in a way that they give us the best chance to win from a technique, assignment, fundamental standpoint. And what was the first part of your question?
Puka.
Oh, yeah, he's one. I mean, this is the Big 12. I mean, there's going to be some freaky elite athletes each and every week. I thought, in the second half, we bottled them up pretty good behind the line of scrimmage. I think getting Malcolm back was huge. I thought the play of the game was the block PAT by him, to put us up by 3, and then what did we go up by 10, I think, after that. And, when there was still a ton of time left on the clock. And so he is as explosive and dynamic of an athlete as we have in this league, and there's a bunch of them. There's no weeks off when you're talking about guys that can make plays like Puka.